Mm.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We've got on the Zoom broadcast today, Harry Glantz. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning, Harvey. How you doing today, buddy?
Fantastic. Sounding loud and clear. I like to hear that. I bring on my guy, Roberto Calderon from eXp Realty. Roberto Calderon, the realtor. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm real happy to be here.
Roberto, thanks for sending that little video shot of you yesterday out and about in Royal Oak. I really appreciate that. Having some fun here. Hey, we're going to be taking your calls all morning long at 248-539-9797. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800 Low Rate, the best mortgage banker. Roberto Calderon, the realtor. It's fun to have you because you're in the streets. You're always working. I really enjoyed having you on the show a couple months ago when you came in the studio. So again, thanks for joining us. It's a lot of fun. Tell me about that.
Absolutely.
I called you yesterday. You were waiting to show a house, and one of the hottest cities here in Metro Detroit, Royal Oak, of course. Tell me a little bit about how that went. And, it really gave us, I love doing these live videos now because it gives us a vibe of what's going on out there.
Yeah, it's interesting because that particular property, there's been a lot of activity on because there was a price drop. So it's important that when you're out there in the trenches and you're trying to help your buyers buy, that you're educated them, you're setting their expectations so that when they finally see this place, they say, okay, this price has dropped. We have to move on this. I've educated you on the market and where this is going. So we have to move quickly because this is a very competitive time right now with all this pent up demand for properties.
Yeah, Roberto, you've heard us for years and years and years on this show talk about the Woodward corridor and the burgeoning economy along Woodward in all the cities from Ferndale up through Bloomfield Hills. And since you're an expert on the Woodward corridor, give everybody a flavor of what's going on the Woodward corridor right now in all the cities, including a hot Royal Oak.
Absolutely. So here we are, we're in the second quarter of the year, and there's been this pent-up demand because everything that was supposed to happen in spring was stalled by the stay-at-home order. So here we are, we got really low rates, and we have scarce inventory, so that makes for a very competitive market right now. So we're seeing multiple offer situations, and some of those offers are sight unseen. I mean, it's been completely something that we have not encountered in a long, long time or ever.
Yeah, so Harvey and I talked about on the show, we've talked about when we went into this COVID period of time, and as we were coming out, there was a new way of shopping for a home. People were going ahead, they were taking a look at the houses online, and then they were making offers, as you said, sight unseen, having never gone into that property, and business is booming now. And that's because there was that pent-up demand, correct?
Correct. So you had that pent-up demand that was supposed to happen in spring, and now here we go into quarter two, and now it's all starting to boom. Now we're getting these competitive offers. Now these entry-level hotspots on the market right now, boy, they are. I mean, one after another. They're selling in hours, maybe in days. I mean, it's been pretty crazy.
Every house fixed up, if it's cute, if it's got the price right in the marketplace, it's going to have multiple offers. New listings are definitely struggling, keeping behind. It's a reminder out there that this declining inventory, it's like something like a 2-month supply out there, which is pretty much at all-time lows. You know, we stress, of course, in the mortgage industry, you got to come with your strong offers, but also with the strong approval letter, with the communication, and more importantly, with that plan. And I love that you brought in knowledge and the information that you share with your clients. You have to almost just make the offer. DocuSign allows you to make offers sight unseen on these properties. And because you've already been working with the clients for a couple of weeks, a whole bunch of interviews on the phone, maybe even in person, you know the wants and needs list. You can always fix up a house. We're going to get into a little different amenities too that people are looking for. But at the end of the day, if you know your clients are 3-bedroom, 2 full baths, you got to start making these offers if you want to get in before the end of the summer.
Absolutely. It's been, there's a whole bunch of different things that are going on, a whole bunch of different sorts of amenities that people are now looking for because of having to stay at home so much more.
We talked about always the backyards and stuff. Now when you show a house, you can almost start in the backyard. So let me first show you this yard in back. We've got a deck. There's room for a pool if there's not already a pool. And and obviously areas for the dogs. And, people just are maybe looking for a little bit of more space. We talk about that constantly on the show, is what one person's desire is could be another opportunity for somebody else, as people might not want to live on top of their neighbors as much anymore, looking for 2 or 3 acres. Maybe your business is going to move more towards the west side, the north, in the outer areas of the Tri-County area. Lots to talk about this morning. If you want to join us, 248-539-9797. Again, the lack of inventory out there, and the average days on the market is 39 days on the market. That's only because there's a lot of stinkers out there that haven't been fixed up. There's definitely a lot of stale inventory out there too, Roberto. But I'll tell you, maybe those houses now, maybe they are going to get some looks, and maybe people need to be a little bit more creative. We'll talk about home improvements and stuff also during the show. Now, when you're looking at some of the houses that have been in the marketplace, maybe there's an opportunity there. Like you said, the one yesterday, there was a $25,000 price reduction. Go ahead and give me a little bit of flavor on that, as to, are there a lot of homes sort of maybe just a little bit too overpriced right now?
Well, maybe a little bit too overpriced because they're still sticking around from spring. That particular one had still been on the market 77 days. And there we were, coming from spring, it was stagnated, and here we are into a better market, but it was still sticking around. So therefore, you're going to see some price drops.
Yeah, philosophically speaking, gentlemen, I've never had a problem with people going ahead and over listing the price on a home. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that's their prerogative. That the market sets the price. If it doesn't sell at that price, it'll sell at another price, and vice versa. It might sell at the high price, but the market dictates what a price is going to sell for. They always say that, what's the market? Well, it's what a willing buyer is willing to pay a seller that accepts the property. We all know that. We've all heard that before. But then when we go and appraise the house, that's a different story. When an appraiser goes out, just because somebody paid $30,000, $40,000 over the price doesn't mean that the house is going to come in at that appraised value. So yes, while the market sets the price, the lender sets the market on what they're going to really lend the money on. So Harvey, why don't you go over that a little bit? Because I know in the past, not so much recently, Harvey has not come in my office lately talking about appraised values. Go ahead, Harvey.
Me all the time. Well, that's just it, Roberto. On our purchases, a lot of times we do get the purchase agreement. We know the areas. We are able to bring up the houses, and we're looking at them. We're looking at the square footage and such, and we're a little nervous. We're nervous because the buyers are only working with X amount of dollars. And when they get into these competitive bid situations, as Harry's mentioning, we're loaning money based on the appraised value. And it's not us. Appraisals are done by third party. We don't even speak to the appraisers anymore. And speaking to one of the top appraisers in the area, Mike Tomchek from Paramount, one of the greatest guys. He's always given us information. Mike and I had a conversation a few weeks back. He said something like 6 to 8 of his last 10 may not appraise out at the purchase price. So these buyers, Roberto, as you know, Roberto the realtor, that you have to have really educated buyers to move forward with these purchases. And, it's today's marketplace. There's no hot tubs out there. You can't get anyone to build you a pool, and you're going to overpay for a house if you want to buy this summer.
Yeah, for sure. And the problem ends up being that you get these people that will say, okay, yeah, I will pay $20,000 over the price of this house. And they say, well, I just want to put in that high bid so that we can win it, so that we can win the actual house and not be able to follow through with the purchase of it, because you can't have an appraisal waiver. I mean, you don't have the money over it. So there is a little sense of greed sometimes that you have to be very wary of, and you have to, that's what it takes. That's why you need a realtor to talk to the other realtor to really get to the root of the situation. Because I tell you what, I get people who will email me offers on my listings without even calling me on the phone, without even wanting to know what is behind the motivation for my seller. What is it that my seller is actually looking for?
Blows my mind.
Just emailing me offers. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, this is a multiple offer situation, and you're just emailing me an offer. You should be calling me, talking to me. Let's try and figure out who's going to be the best buyer for this property. Who's going to be the one that can really that can really help us out here. Yeah.
We're up against a quick break here. We're going to talk about those competitive offers. We're going to talk about communication. That's always key. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 9:15. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Hey, we got open lines here all morning long, 248-539-9797. I'm Harvey Freed. Harry Glanz is on with us from Capital Mortgage Funding. We got Roberto Calderon, EXP Realty, speaking on behalf of all the real estate agents in Southeast Michigan, giving us a real good feel of what's going out there. I'm just going to say this is one of my favorite weekends. Well, July 4th definitely is, but here we are in the midst of summer. What a gorgeous day we're going to have today. So we're really excited to have anyone on board. I just grabbed the Detroit Free Press this morning, Harry. Did you see this? Roberto, it says hot, 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 up north cottages. Forget about up north cottages. Any lake property around here, anything with some land, up north properties, real estate is really hot in Michigan. Roberto, get us excited. Tell us more about how hot this market is.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have people that is a big trend right now. They need to have that extra space, and they don't have that extra space at home. So they need to have a second property, something that they can drive to, something that's not that far. Hopefully, it's around water. So that second vacation home, that second spot has been very popular. I have people that are selling investment properties in the metro area just so that they can buy a second vacation home that they can go to. So yeah, that is something that's very important because they don't like the dense population. They don't necessarily want to be around everybody. They just want to be with their family and be at their second home and enjoying life again.
And could you imagine?
Roberto, in Michigan, we live for summertime and we live for about 90 days between Memorial Day and Labor Day. But if we squeak out like a May or an early April and then get into the fall, there's a saying, they're not making any more water. Okay. They're not making any more lakes. But bottom line is that even in the wintertime, if you have a house, a cottage, whatever it is, up north on a lake, listen, plenty you can do. A lot of ice fishing, a lot of skating, a lot of hunting. There's a lot of things going on. And that's why people love the great state of Michigan, and particularly up north in the northern lower peninsula as well as the upper peninsula. I've never been there. It's crazy up in Marquette. Excuse me. But the bottom line is we like our recreation here for sure.
Oh, yeah, we love it. And, here with these all-time low interest rates, and you guys can imagine this. So these families that are buying them now, they're getting mortgages, they're going to hold on to these properties. There's not a lot of reason. If you can lock in to one of these properties, again, Harry mentions they're not building more water. In fact, we saw some of our lakes disappear. So they're definitely not building more. And some of them were already dammed and those dams broke and they had more trouble up there. So, yeah, they're hanging on to their properties. They're gaining value. And up north has gone up in value. And there's ultimately the same type of energy up there with multiple bids on anything on the water.
Yeah, right. And not to mention, I'm sure there's a big uptake in kayaking. Everybody's buying kayaks. You can't drive down Woodward without seeing kayaks attached to somebody's roof on their car, left and right.
Come
kayaks,
on over.
Canoes. Yeah.
I told you, come over anytime. I got you in the backyard. Hey, guys, we'll go to a call here. We got Norm calling in from Grand Blanc area. Norm, welcome to our show. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Good morning, sir. Yes. Yes. The Veterans Administration gives you an interest rate reduction loan, and I want you to go ahead and move forward with it quickly. Yeah. I'll call you after the year to see what the offer is and see if we could do a little bit better for you. I never know who you're working with. We always tell people, a little leery of people, strangers giving you a phone call. I'd like you to engage in a conversation also with the person who got you that VA loan. Norm, you said you got it 4 years ago. Perhaps you could, I was going to say your mortgage was recorded. So not only can you reach out to the person you got the mortgage with, these strangers, they might be really good companies. They found your records, the information online, what your old interest rate was. So now they're able to reach out to you by mail. And a lot of the offers are real sincere. That's the key is on these VA loans, take advantage of it. Let me ask you a question, Norm. What's your current interest rate? Yeah, you got a pretty good one, but if you can get under 3 on a program, yeah, I like that idea that you give them a phone call.
Typically, Norm, I would caution you. Norm, it's Harry. I would caution you this. I would say that if you got a mass solicitation, that you should call either your existing lender, who you have a relationship with, or Harvey, and make sure that we can be a second set of eyes. Because if it's a good deal and it's legitimate, we'll tell you that. But if it's also the costs are too high and it looks like somebody's trying to take advantage of you through a mass mail or a phone call or an email opportunity, we're going to tell you that too. So the bottom line is we want you to succeed and set you up for success. So why don't you let us take a look at it, be a second set of eyes, use us as a sounding board and bounce it off of us, and we'll make sure that we give you the right advice. All right?
Good call, Norm. All right. I appreciate the phone call.
Thanks for your service, Norm.
248-539-9797. Yes, Roberto, way to shoot that out to him. Yes, thanks for all the veterans there and all the hardworking people on the front lines out there. The veterans loans are great opportunities for the veterans to come back and take advantage of it. 0 down purchases. And when rates go down, like these great times that we're having, they have the opportunity to refinance that loan at any time. And a lot of the families are taking advantage, not even going from a 30-year. You can also call and now maybe take a look at a 15-year, because there's nothing better than having that house free and clear. And as we were talking about this a little bit, all-time low interest rates, Roberto, you mentioned that some of the families that you knew were actually selling the rental properties. They wanted to maybe buy up north and take advantage of that. But if they do hang on to the rental properties here locally, some of the areas you work, Mount Clemens and Roseville, these areas have been unbelievable opportunities for families to buy rental properties. Good renters in there, good communities, and the prices aren't too bad.
Absolutely. And it's great that you mentioned that, because I recently partnered with the newest property management company in downtown Royal Oak, the brokerage. And what we've been doing is we've been able to help people find these sorts of investment properties and help them manage these investment properties so that they're seeing some sort of return right away. And then with the whole problem with people being out of work and property owners not having that income from the people that are their tenants, we've been helping bridge the gap and trying to figure out these ways of making win-win scenarios for the tenant and for the property owner. So it's a very important thing to have done. And it's funny because one of the clients that I have now is also a veteran, and she's getting a VA loan to buy a property that's actually a duplex.
Yes.
So she's going to be living on one side, and then she's going to have income coming from the other side, and it's just a great scenario for her.
Yeah,
I love that VA loan. I love the property management aspect of it too.
Oh yeah, I love anything that 1 to 4 units. What an opportunity for someone who's getting into it. Really, their first house. I mean, it's a lot to chew off a little bit, because now all of a sudden, not only are you becoming a homeowner, but you're becoming a landlord at the same time. But again, if you're only managing maybe one or two units, but you guys manage these properties for a small fee. What roughly the fee is between, I think, 6 and 10% to have property management professionals handle it for you.
Absolutely, yeah. Just being hassle-free, worry-free for these property owners. That's what they're really looking for. And many of them live out of state, or they live up north. They just don't have the time to be dealing with all the problems that we will help them deal with on a day-by-day basis. Collecting rents, putting out fires. Maybe the hot water heater went out, or maybe there's an unfortunate situation where we're going to have to handle letting somebody go from their lease. And that's a very difficult situation to navigate. And I would not want anybody to have to do that doesn't know how.
Right. Yeah, you're stepping into some new waters there. 248-539-9797. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, in our 20th season, always trying to give you some great information about home ownership if you're looking to buy or sell. In today's crazy marketplace, you need to hire professional real estate agents. Call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We've got a plethora of people, great people. Roberto Calderon, you're being one of them, and great people we can set you up with. And we always tell people, interview 1 or 2 different families, find out what the differences are. But these homes, if you've got a really nice house, you've got to have a good mix. Usually the agent you're going to be working with on the listing side, you might hire their services also on the buy side. So a lot of times that's a good scenario because of the timing is so important. Roberto, one of the things that I'm up against nonstop is the families that are calling me. They want to buy that new house, but again, it's all about timing. Only half of the clients seem that they would qualify to purchase a new house without selling their existing home. So we have to have timing. We need professionals. You've completed these type of transactions a good amount of times in order to really help your clients. So good experience really comes handy in this.
It really does. And timing becomes everything when it comes to helping people buy one property and sell their old property. They have to have that liquidity somewhere so that they can put it down. But more importantly, again, I have to go back to these people who are trying to buy, and they have their agents call and talk to me and not really understand that my sellers that want to sell you the house, they have their timing too. So between our seller's timing and your buyer's timing, we need to be able to come together and figure this out, because there's a lot of different scenarios that can make things go south, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, have a lot of the professionals in there.
Hey, Roberto, I have a question for you. Thanks, Harp. Roberto, I have a question for you. Are you seeing with all the vendors, title companies, appraisers, home inspectors, everybody is very busy right now. Are you seeing a lot of extensions on PAs right now, purchase agreements? I don't want to get too technical. Purchase agreements right now?
Every once in a while, I am seeing that, and it is because of the pandemic. Unfortunately, there has been some extensions on some purchases because there's been some emergencies with their family with the pandemic, and so it does end up coming into play. Yes.
Hey guys, we're up against a quick break here. It's 9:26 in Metro Detroit. What a gorgeous weekend we're going to have here. Keep it on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll return all of your questions, 248-539-9797.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's 9:30. I already said it's a glorious day outside. How about those water temperatures? Would you believe it? Lake Erie, 79 degrees. That's a bath. Get out there and enjoy. Only about a foot up on the wave side. So smooth boating out there all over the Great Lakes. Hope you enjoy it. I always say we're going to sneak in a little bit of sports. Of course, Pat Caputo comes up with sports here right after us. So keep it here for social commentary and a lot of new sports information. We're about a week away from Tiger baseball. And boy, Harry, I'm pumped up about that. I said it's not a sports show, it's just mortgages and real estate. But since you and I can play a little bit, Riley Green, the 19-year-old, in case he's listening, you'll get your mortgage from Capital Mortgage, Riley, if you make the club this year. But I'm impressed, Harry. They look like they got some young talent down there.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him, and I love the young. I like the talent. I love the Tigers. Always been a big, lifelong Tiger fan. Went to my first game at 6 years old, doubleheader against the Kansas City A's back in 1965. It was a lot of fun. I wanted to stay for the third game, but they didn't play 3 games. I thought they did. I don't know, but yeah, Tigers can't wait for baseball to come back. Some sense of normalcy, and I just hope everybody stays safe and those players stay healthy for us.
Alrighty. Hey, we got Becky Alley calling in. Becky from our office, a top loan officer in the United States. Becky, a top loan officer all around the state of Michigan, too. Give us a little vibe, Beck, of what's happening down there. You've got a busy, busy week. Not only trying to close a whole bunch of refinance transactions, but the purchases are blowing up all downriver also.
With new developments, obviously, in the world. So, you guys were talking about the timing of transactions, and I feel like right now that is key to kind of talk about right now. So it's a great topic because people are writing these 30-day transactions, and it's a big deal if we're not able to accommodate that on the 30th day. But what people need to know on the lending side is that there's a lot of moving parts. So if you give someone a purchase agreement on June 1st, and then there's a 10-day inspection period. Well, now we're down to a 20-day transaction to get this in and out from beginning to end. And then you got appraisers right now that are taking their sweet time because they're overwhelmed. So it's a lot of straining on the lending industry, and it's just not even just us. I'm sure it's like, any lending, institution right now where it's like, it's a lot of pressure to meet these timeframes within 20 days with things that we can't control. So for example, when you file your tax returns, we have to get transcripts from the IRS. Right now, they're not accepting requests from a third party. So that means that, or if they are, they're taking like weeks to get them. So we're having to contact our borrowers and all that stuff. So, it's a key to make sure that if you are writing these purchase agreements, we're always going to do our best to get that done for sure. 30 days is great, but if you can give us 35 days, that would be fantastic for sure.
Beck, I like that you said that because, like you said, Roberto, if you catch on, now she was using June. So now we're at June 10th, right. Inspection's clear. We only really have 15 business days left, because getting an appraiser out there on a Saturday and Sunday with the pandemic and their families and everything, there's not a lot. We close purchases within 30 days, but I got to tell you, and everyone in our industry knows, it's just not us. The people that are getting it done, a lot of stress, a lot of people really working hard, including the agents, documents, last minute documents, addendums getting signed in, and then these title companies, we're all in this together. So yeah, it's sort of a miracle that a purchase does get done under 30 days all the time.
I would say it is kind of a little bit on the miracle side. It's like we take it so personal. I mean, literally, like I'm on the phone with Harry, you're on the phone with your clients. We're literally like doing everything we can to put the transaction on our shoulders and heave it over the finish line because I don't like to let anyone down. I take it to bed with me sometimes. It's very upsetting.
Hey, Becky, I'll tell you this. Here's the difference. All right. Becky, Harvey, we all have an entire team behind us. As Becky said, she can bounce things off of me and our entire staff. We are a full service mortgage banker, entire processing, closing, funding, underwriting, all within our building. Well, now you can't say within the building because nobody comes to the building anymore, but all within our own basic shops. I mean, that's what we do. We do it all. So we have an entire team atmosphere that nobody is left out by themselves. Clients call us all day, every day. We're in the streets. Becky, Harvey, our entire staff, we're in the streets getting it done. So yeah, we have a lot of challenges. Why do you have a lot of challenges? If you don't have a lot of challenges, you're not doing a lot of business. I'm sure Roberto, you could speak to that too. And it's just busy out there and it's good. And we're blessed to be busy right now. But sometimes even during this period of time, you've got to put your patience hat on. Nobody likes to be patient in a transaction. Everybody wants things done now, and now. When it's busy, I got to tell you something. It just doesn't get done now, even though we try to get it done for you. We'll get it done. It'll close. Don't worry about it.
Sometimes there's other alternatives to it. Of course, here, if you got a bundle of cash, then it doesn't matter. But we had some situations recently where people make good decisions and bad decisions. And again, I think the knowledge that they have and the teams that they have will will provide that type of intelligence. We shake our heads sometimes. A year later, we look at a transaction, we're shaking our heads going, what did they do here? But hey, U.S. median home sales price up 3% just in June alone. There's just a lack of inventory out there. We talked about it earlier in the show. Roberto, it's a hot market, meaning that, yes, this isn't a market like it was in the past. We'd say, I really like the house. I'm going to call my mom and dad up, and we're going to have the in-laws come over tonight and take a look at it. Those days are done. Those days are done. And Roberto, my FHA clients, my minimal down clients, are having troubles getting their purchase offers accepted because of all the conventional offers out there. So it's a real struggle for a lot of first-time home buyers too.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that, because I start thinking about, like, okay, the FHA buyer comes in and let's say he does get his offer accepted. There is such a strain on the mortgage industry right now to get, like you guys were saying, to get it closed in 30 days, because not only are they working on that FHA deal, but there's also all these refis that are happening that's really putting a strain on the mortgage industry too. So when you present these offers to these sellers, you really do have to write in a little bit of extra time just to be able to make sure that expectations are met, that, I'll even say 40, 45 days, just so that I can under promise and over deliver and make everybody look like a winner and look like a hero on this particular.
I agree.
Hey, Becky and Harvey.
Another scenario.
Becky and Harvey.
Go ahead, Harvey.
I want to ask this question. Becky and Harvey, Roberto, we, from a lender standpoint, we've been doing this a long time. In the old days, FHA had a stigma. But from a lender standpoint, Harvey and Becky and I want to ask a realtor this question. What's the difference when there's an FHA offer and a conventional offer presented? And why, if there is a why is an FHA offer looked at with a jaundiced eye? Explain it to me, because, see, money is money, and it's not like FHA loans in the old days. We still write checks. So explain to everybody out there, what is the difference when two offers are presented and one's a conventional and one's an FHA? And I caution you to be careful.
It's for me, what I come across is that nobody wants to make the repairs on the house for the FHA to get approved. When that appraisal comes back and there's repairs that need to be done, nobody wants to do them. And nobody wants to take the extra time to have the appraiser come back out, take a look, and risk, the fix isn't good enough. We can't go forward on this deal. Now we wasted everybody's time. So people just think that having a conventional offer is going to make things simple, easy, and breezy, when that's not always the case.
That is not always the case. And I want to add this. So I know you didn't say this, and I know you really didn't mean this, but an FHA offer and a sale really protects the buyer a little bit more, because if there is something wrong with the house, if the handrail isn't there, if the step on the back porch isn't there, if the light sockets and switches need to be replaced, they're obligated to do that as a seller, and it really protects the buyer. So you could inversely say that a conventional, what you're saying, is just breezes through. Okay, well, if I'm a buyer, I want that stuff done. If I'm a seller, maybe I don't want to put in the work. That's what I'm hearing, everybody.
Hey, Roberto, I was going to say, I like that, Harry. Roberto, I was going to say, to comment on that is, but most of the homes now are really, when you go to look at a house, you're sitting down with the listing, you want to get a few more dollars out of it. So you do the walk through the house, you do walk throughout the outside, the exterior. So you're already pointing these things out. I think that's what it takes to really separate yourself as a great quality listing agent, is when you go to the seller's house and you say, look, I know you don't want to do these things to the house, but why not fix it up? One of the things too, even on a conventional mortgage, peeling paint now, the conventional appraisers, any standard appraiser, they do cite health and safety reasons now anyway. So really not a big difference. If I could just talk to anyone out there thinking about selling their house, offer all terms, because an FHA buyer could be a higher offer and just as easy as a transaction as any conventional offer out there.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Harvey. Not always, it's not just FHA right now appraisals that are getting hit. So I've had a couple of conventional appraisers where the appraiser went out there and they felt that the light sockets not being covered was a health and safety concern, and that was what he wanted. And they had to do it fixed. And that would be the same exact thing that an FHA appraiser would do as well. So
right on.
No difference. Money is money.
Money. 940 this morning. Hey, we're going to save you some money. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. give us a call here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
To the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We've got some open lines here, 248-539-9797. Just another 16 minutes or so of mortgage and real estate talk. That way you can really get your man cave together for hopefully some up and coming sports this fall and maybe even in a couple of weeks here as we get Major League Baseball started. Of course, we talk mortgages and real estate. We've got Roberto Calderon from eXp Realty, a real professional real estate agent from the area. I love having him on because he goes with the flow. He's got some great information to share, and he understands that knowledge is everything. So it's great to have you. Lots going on out there. We talked about do you qualify for a purchase without the sale of your existing house? So it's very important for a lot of the families out there to really dig in right now with your agent. If you're thinking about buying a house and you have a house for sale, again, if you've already gone through the qualification purposes, great. But it's very, very important to understand you can maybe buy the new house and only put 5% down because we offer something at Capital Mortgage Funding called recasting your mortgage. So after you sell the house, you can then go ahead and put down your 15 or 20% down to get rid of the PMI. So yes, folks, if there's a house out there, if you want to move into a new house for your family before the end of summer, you could sell your other one. And there's a lack of inventory out there, Roberto. So that's sort of the key, as we talked about timing in the last segment, that if you've got a house that's going to sell in the days on the market, only a handful, you probably can move forward with that new home.
Right. And that's when pricing comes into effect. And boy, it is so important to be so careful about the pricing and the days on market. You see the days on market, you have to aim for that. You want to not have stale product so that the house is compelling. If it's not compelling, it's not going to be selling. They have to make sure
I like that.
that's what you're doing.
Oh boy,
Guys, I got Bill
Oh,
calling
you
in from
Roberto.
Roseville. Here we go. Bill from Roseville. Bill, you got a question about selling a house. Go ahead, Bill. Hey, real good. Thanks for calling in. Go ahead. Yeah, always putting some money in to fix it up. Roberto, I always like the idea that you get out there and see what's going on at that house and give them some good opinions.
Right. Especially now with people looking for specific sorts of rooms and specific sorts of areas. Maybe they are looking for a workout area or maybe an extra large pantry that is seeing a lot of return rate because people love their big kitchens now. They want to be able to have date night in their kitchen. And since you're not going out to restaurants, so yeah, there is some rate of return on putting some money into the house. You know, kitchens and bathrooms, of course, are always great, but now it's shifted to backyards too. So yeah, that might be something to really explore.
Hey, Bill, what are you thinking? Like, tell me a couple of the fix-ups and what you're going to be selling your house for. Okay. That's great. You got a great house. Yeah, you got a really great house that you're going to be selling there, Bill. If you don't mind, Bill, what we do is we'll have Roberto call you after the show. If you want to just have, there's no charge to have a great real estate agent come and just give you some opinions. They could do a market analysis for you, truly breaking down the value of the properties and what they're selling for in your area. And I'll tell you, it's so hot out there right now. You might end up getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or more than any other time. Oh yeah, we know Roseville. You want to comment on that, Roberto?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Roseville's come a long way from let's even 5 years ago, people were upside down in Roseville. Now here we are. It's an area that people are looking to invest in because it's a medium price market. It's doing well. It's on its way back. It would be definitely good to take a look at your property and see what we can get you for it, for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely follow up on that. Hey, and Bill, where's your place up north? Where are you going to be moving to? What city?
Oh,
I love Hessel.
Oh, okay. I don't know it, but Roberto knows it. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully I can hook you guys up for maybe some conversation about the sale of your house. And thank you for the call joining us this morning. We appreciate it. All right, 248-539-9797. If you want to sneak in another phone caller here, we've got Pat Caputo coming up again at 10 o'clock. He's already in the bullpen warming up. I know they got the pitches already going, so they get it going. How about getting your project started? Cash out refinances. Call Capital Mortgage Funding. We've been doing a ton of them. Not only are families consolidating their first and second mortgages, Becky, they're going to take out an extra $15,000 to $30,000, and they are redoing the bathrooms and kitchens, and they're going to redo the deck. And they're going to put away a lot of money for these pools. Becky, let's throw it out there because we know you're in the market for a pool. We just throw it out there so that maybe some of these pool manufacturers will give you a phone call. They told Becky maybe in 2023, when can you get the pool
2021. I'm on the list for next year. Yeah.
All right.
No, yeah, it's not too bad, but yeah, it's definitely like cash out transactions. And honestly, I'm seeing a lot of, unfortunately, I don't know, I'm not going to blame on the pandemic, but a lot of divorce where they're having to pull cash out to settle between each other. And, I actually have a client, free and clear home. And I was like, well, if you're in a position where you have to do something, you pick the best time because this money has never been cheaper for you to actually pull the money out of your home. So, there's different ways, whatever you want to use the cash for, that's at your discretion. Obviously our goal is to kind of make sure you're set up for your goals, make sure we know what you're trying to do, make sure that it's realistic. Because obviously people think their house is worth $1 million. So we try to do the best we can as far as the analysis, as far as what we feel, is a realistic amount to pull out of your home.
Right.
But why not? I mean, if you got to do the basement, you got pools, you got divorce settlements. I mean, that it is your biggest asset that you are working for you. It's a tax write-off still. So why not? We're in the market where your property values have been appreciating for quite some time now. And now we're at that peak where it's the highest they've been. The rates have been the lowest. It's like a perfect storm for you to take advantage of that biggest asset that you have.
really change your life too. I'm glad you mentioned it, Becky, because divorce judgments stayed on there, alimony and child supports do. And if you're receiving that type of income, it's only good for another 3 years. If you're going to be receiving it for another 3 years, it's effective income. But if you're down to 2 years, you can't use it anymore. So take a look at your dates on your divorce judgments. A lot of clients do come to us. And I told one of my good friends last year, I said, you understand if we waited another 6 months, you wouldn't have effective income. So sure enough, it's very important to understand what effective income is. And I'm glad you brought that up because we can talk about some self-employed buyers. Yes, get your taxes filed. It just came up. Believe it or not, the extension was July 15th. It was
15th, yep, 15th, yep.
Yeah, no one made any fuss about it. No one's talking about
tax day.
Right, tax day.
It just kind of came and went under the radar.
Yeah, exactly, Becky. And it was under the radar. And I think a lot of families might have missed the boat. But if we're going to use your income for 2019, you have to have those taxes filed. More importantly, we have to get these transcripts. So yeah, definitely call your CPA, your accountant, before they go on vacation, because they've been working since all year. They haven't stopped since the beginning of the year.
Yes, what you're saying and what I'm hearing, if I'm like a normal average person, is there's a lot that goes into a mortgage transaction that the professionals here at Capital Mortgage Funding, we are aware of. And we have to kind of get all those ducks in a row as quickly as possible so that way we can push your transaction as quickly as possible. In the break, we were talking about what if you're struggle busing using a scanner? Okay, I had a client, I was making house calls yesterday. I had my mask on, taking the precautions, going to their houses because they are incapable of scanning or faxing documents. So if you're in that boat, we still need to be able to get you in we still are trying to accommodate your goals. So we will make those house calls. We will have you come out to our offices. But again, safety is everything because we're in a different environment. It's not shake hands, kiss babies anymore, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you're going to get pushed to the side. We are very personal with people and we want to help you out. But for sure, we got to get everything going on because you got taxes, we got transcripts, we got a lot going on.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Hey, Roberto, the realtor, no doubt. I don't want to open a new topic. We only got a couple of minutes left, but definitely we talked about living spaces. Boy, are we fortunate in Michigan to have basements. So many places across the country, they don't have they don't know from basements. Now, of course, if you're on a slab or a crawl space like I have, I don't know what I'm talking about, but basements are great living spaces. And I think we're going to see a trend that people are going to use those for their new offices and their workout rooms. Finish those basements. And if you have one, your house, it has some additional value.
100%. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how that'll start affecting appraisals as well, because with that is going to come more demand for a finished basement, for something that will give them space to put their workout set downstairs, to have a place to do yoga, to have a secluded work area so that the kids aren't jumping in on the Zoom calls, right? So,
well, their school might
you're
be
going
down
to see
there,
that.
right? Their school might be down in the basement, but no,
right.
all valid points here. Just a couple more minutes left here. Roberto, give us a little bit here. Wrap it up for us.
Well, I don't know. I'm still thinking about refining to get a hot tub going, because my girl and I have been talking about that, and so we're getting ready for the next shutdown and getting ready to put in a hot tub.
Well, I love it. I made the repurchase a few years ago, and I'll tell you, it's something that definitely, as we get older, they're nice to have in the backyard. So salute out there to any outdoor space. But we do see a lot of that. A lot of families are pulling the cash out of their house. So if you're interested in that, be sure to call Capital Mortgage all week long. Thanks for setting me up for that one. Get your cash out refinance. Call 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Harry Glantz, just go ahead and wrap us up here.
Yeah, final thoughts, everybody. Listen, you're going to get these mass mailers, these phone calls, these email blasts. It's a fixed rate market out there, everybody. A 30, a 15, a 10, a 25, a 20, whatever it is. Don't be talked into an interest rate, an ARM, nothing. Fixed rate.
All right, I love it.
Protect yourself.
All righty. All right. Hey, I'll say salute. We're out of here. Hey, Becky Ellie, have a great weekend. That's Becky Ellie downriver, handling all your mortgage and real estate needs down there. And we'll get you set up with the right people if you call Capital Mortgage. Again, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.